privilege. In a lot of circles, it's become a dirty word, one that makes us squirm, get defensive, or even shut down. But what if we slowed down long enough to ask, what does privilege really mean? And how does it quietly shape our everyday lives? Welcome to You Don't Know, the podcast where the only doctrine is, don't be an asshole. You remember our friend Steph? Around the Wayfind Collective, she's the beaming hugger and the brains behind Stats with Steph on our social media accounts. We didn't create that series just for kicks. Steph is one of those magical humans who thrives in the data. Give her numbers and she'll spin them into stories and analogies that make sense for the rest of us. Or as Michael Scott would say, why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5? This episode was recorded way back, like early days of You Don't Know. It spun out of this clip from our A 360-Degree View episode, where we learned about the incredible work of motherhood beyond bars.
Privilege isn't the presence of perks and benefits. It's the absence of obstacles and barriers. If you have a hard time recognizing your privileges, focus on what you don't have to go through that maybe other people do. And let that fuel your empathy and action. So really thinking through what it might be like to be the spouse of an incarcerated person, the parent of an incarcerated person, the child of an incarcerated person, or even an incarcerated person. What does that process look like? What's it look like to have to go to jail or prison?
Yeah. And we hope to develop that, you call it a muscle, an empathy muscle, all along the way.
This also happened to be the very first time Linds and D, that's me, sat down to record with someone else. Just a casual convo, the kind you'd have on a friend's couch with a glass of wine. Now that we've made space in the show to include the conversations that shape the way we show up in the world, we knew it was time to revisit this timeless episode on privilege with our very own Steph. So ignore the trucks and sirens, forgive the mic bumps, and lean into the loosey-goosey rhythm. Through laughter, honesty, and a few uncomfortable moments, we wrestle with unconscious bias, share our own stories, and ask what it might look like to use privilege in ways that open doors instead of closing them. Because becoming better neighbors starts with noticing the things we've been taught not to see. So pull up a chair and let's get into it.
Today we have a special guest who is one of our besties, and she is also known as Stats with Steph.
Woo! My favorite part of our show.
That's right. And she's gonna take us to school today. Are we ready? You ready, D?
Yes, ma'am.
Yo, look at you being all like proper already.
Don't
Come
say
on.
ma'am. You said take us to school.
You're like, I'm here. Yes, teacher.
I went to get an A.
All right.
This is ungraded and the points don't matter.
Okay.
Good.
Let's just not make fools of ourselves.
Yes.
Here we go.
Impossible. What are we talking about? We're talking about privilege.
Privilege.
Okay. I'm going to start with, what does privilege mean to you?
Ah, crap.
You don't have
Stephanie.
to write it down. Just don't call me Stephanie. What? Stats with Steph.
D, I'm going to let you answer that one.
Exactly.
Well, here, let's just disarm ourselves, right? Okay. I normally like to disarm with a hug, but we've already taken at least an hour and a half to set up, so okay. I don't want to move. So just give yourself a hug. Disarm any defenses that you have. It's just a conversation.
This is great.
Yeah. Feels good, right? Making eye contact.
Can I get a fist bump or something instead? Thank you.
This is getting uncomfortable.
I'm having to hug myself. Okay. All right. So we talked about it a little in our episode. And what was the quote we said? It was, think of things you don't have to go through that someone else might have to go through, and try and put yourself in their position as much as you can. And that is your privilege. It's not something you asked for, not anything that you deserve or whatever. You can't help the amount of privilege that you have. That's all I remember from that conversation.
Thoughts? That's great, Linds.
Thank you.
Ditto.
So I guess the technical definition would be like advantages and favors that you didn't earn. And I think you did say that in the first episode.
Okay.
Just things that are unearned. that you have no control over.
Are we taking notes? You're taking notes.
She can't help it. She's got a pen and paper.
I like that. Advantages and
favors
that are unearned.
Yeah. In everything. In everything you do, think, say in the world.
Years ago, I saw a video. We've already talked about this 1,000 times. I saw a video, and it was showing what privilege is in like real tangible terms. And what they did is it looked like they were at a summer camp, and they made all the kids line up. These are like teenagers all on a line. They're about to do a foot race. But before the foot race starts, they call out all these things and say, if both of your parents live at home, take a step ahead. So those people take like the biggest, most giant step they could possibly take. And then they say, if none of your immediate family members have been incarcerated, take a step ahead. And all the kids take a giant step. And if you live in a white neighborhood, take a step forward. And all the kids that live in a white neighborhood take a giant step forward. And if you go to a private school, take a giant step forward. And then it's a foot race. And some of the kids are 20 yards ahead, and some of the kids are still at the start line, and they say, go, and everybody's running to the same finish line. And that was the example of privilege that has stuck in my head, and it made it so real for me, and it makes so much sense because, we say life is like a hamster wheel, or like you're running the race or the rat race or whatever. It really is. Like, we're all doing the same thing. We're waking up every day and we're doing the things we need to do so that we can survive and thrive and function in the world. And we're putting our head on the pillow at night and we wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. And everybody's doing that. And everybody wants to live a happy, healthy, full, and meaningful life. And so just some people get to take some giant steps ahead in the race. And to me, that feels like that's it.
Yeah. That's a great visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that the first time I saw it too. And I was just like,
And I feel like if everybody who rolls their eyes when we start talking about privilege could see that video, they would also say, they would get it. But because the word privilege, like so many other things in our society, has been weaponized and demonized, that now you feel like if you're talking about it, all of a sudden you are progressive or you are liberal or you are woke or all these things that also have been weaponized and demonized, and that you can't talk about those things because that belongs to the other side. No, these terms and these ideas and these thought processes belong to everybody, and you should be talking about them and thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought of another commercial that I saw. Actually, it was only a couple years ago, but like it helped just define intersectionality.
Okay.
So everybody feels like they have this one, there are all these things that make us different, right? And then what you were just talking about with privilege, whether it's the color of our skin or our gender identification or our sexual orientation, things like that, our abilities. But the complicated part about it, which we've literally just sat here and talked about for like an hour and 10 minutes, you said, the complicated part about that is that you're not just one thing. You're never just one thing.
Right.
Everybody is not just one thing. There's constant intersectionality. And the concept of intersectionality to me was hard to understand until I saw a similar commercial where they brought in, like, they had these boxes on the ground where you stand inside the tape or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there was this one box that was just empty, but everybody, when everybody came in, there was like the yoga moms and the jocks and the nerds, and they had like this kind of, it was language that you might use in like high school or very Breakfast Club type language. And for all the youngins out there, they might have to look that up. And
thank you for looking at me when you said young.
And so the narrator would say, come to the front if you've ever been abused by your parents. And like people from every single walk of life came there. And then they reset. And then they say, come to the front if you are, if you identify with the LGBTQ community. And then, you see all these intersectionalities come up. I mean, there's a really heartbreaking moment where only one person came up and everybody just cheered for them because it was so great. I think it was a question about transgender or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that 100% heavily plays into this conversation about privilege. You have to identify the intersection, the where you intersect. And that's actually a relatable thing to empathize with your neighbor. There is something that you relate to. There is always something that you have something, there's always something in common between you and somebody else, whether you know them or not. So
finding that common ground and allowing your relationship to flourish.
Yes.
Out from there.
Yeah. Make your strengths stronger and baby steps on the weaknesses. Don't have to capitalize on the weaknesses, but I feel like things that you're really, really good at, that's another thing, a way of advancing your own privilege is just like teach other people those things that you're really, really friggin' good at. You know, usually it's soft skills, but sometimes hard skills.
And on that note, what we've been talking about is a lot of people, based on the things that have happened to them or they were exposed to, or tragedies and traumas in their life or whatever, if they're able to receive appropriate help and overcome those things, that's often the genre of work that they go into.
Yes.
And so their weakness or the bad thing that happened in their life becomes their superpower.
Yeah.
And then they're able to connect to people and help other people in that realm. And it just goes on and on.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about privileges of ourselves. I'm going to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Like examples of
Examples.
Okay.
Like, let's just clear the table. Everyone has some sort of privilege, right?
Okay.
Do we agree with that? Or, I mean, we
Sure.
don't have to. You can completely disagree with me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I am cisgendered. That means I identify with the gender I was assigned at birth. That's an advantage in a not an advantage, but a favor in a heteronormative society.
Okay.
Right? I'm heterosexual. That means I prefer my partners to be of the opposite sex. One partner.
My multiple partners.
The one that I'm married to. Also heteronormative thing in our society. You know. I'm able-bodied. I have the use of all of my limbs. So that being said, do you guys have anything that you can identify as being a privilege?
Yes. I don't know the correct way to say everything, so I'm just going to say it in my regular terms. I am white, and I know that gives me lots of advantages in a lot of different arenas. I was also born probably upper middle class. I feel like that is a lot of advantages. What about you?
Why are we getting into the F sharp zone?
Because this is not.
What? Are you uncomfortable?
Always.
Oh, okay.
But I am always afraid I'm going to say things the wrong way. I know this is a safe space, but not all spaces are safe. So it's always like you're always like teetering.
And they're probably feeling the same way you are.
Yeah.
And I am.
Okay, let's. What about you, Dee?
Well, I would say all of the things that you guys have said, except not upper middle class.
Well, ours was just credit card debt, so
a
that's
little lower. Yeah, and I went to a private school.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of those things plus, I mean, that's just an additional thing.
And I just want to like make this space even safer. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. It's just things out of your control, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff we named, like, we can't do anything about. Your parents decided to send you to a private school at 3 years old. You weren't like, I refuse, you know? So it's good things. They add to your story and your life. So.
Oh, I think another one is, I don't know if this would be considered one, but living in a more rural setting. I feel like the more people there are in a tighter space, the more exposure you have to things, the tougher the crowds get that you're hanging out with, no matter what. I mean, that's just my experience of what I've seen. So being more spread out allows people to have more of their, do whatever they want.
Space.
The way they want, yeah.
How about, did you guys have one parent or two parents in the home?
Two parents.
Two parents.
Yeah, that's another one. How about this one? How old are you? You don't have to answer. You don't have to.
Wow. Dee would say she's in her middle ages.
Sure, we'll go with that. That's fine.
Yeah, we're 30s and 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the average age of America today is 38.8.
We are right at the average.
Wow. I am average.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't like the way that sounds.
No, you wouldn't. I appreciate and rest in the comfort of average.
And I can't change
Don't
my age.
make me different. Yeah, that's right. So in society, if, marketing knows that the average age of American is 38 years old, a lot of the commercials we see, things on television, cars, whatever we're consuming, visually or information-wise, is going to be targeted towards us.
They're appealing to us.
Yeah. Because that's just capitalism.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So which automatically pushes people out to margins and
yeah. What what hand do you write with? Right hand?
Right hand.
Oh man, I just
We're having some technical issues, folks.
I also write with my right hand.
Right hand?
We are catered to.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
Did you ever have to think about picking up a pair of scissors and changing hands?
No.
Yeah, because every pair of scissors is made for right-handed people.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There are some left-handed ones made now, right?
Yeah. Yes, there are. Yeah,
But
you have to
generally-
specifically look for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not so aggressive and scary, right? These are just like normal things in our lives that we don't realize because, and we weren't given this, like we didn't earn it. I didn't earn my right-handedness.
Well, and that's where the space we've lived,
Yeah.
right? So like I don't think about having to pick up a left-handed pair of scissors because I've lived in a space where I'm right-handed. What I need is available to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if we disarm the word, maybe it becomes a little bit more embracing.
Palatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do the opposite? Can we say things that are...
Sure. So yeah, let's talk about that. What are some systemic things in place today that cater to privilege?
Okay.
This is kind of tricky.
The police department. I don't know if that's a...
Expound.
I feel like my chances of getting out of a ticket and not being arrested are pretty high because I'm white. I'm a female.
Right. Yeah, it works.
Right.
So getting out of a ticket.
Yeah.
So,
or not going to jail where other people would,
mm,
that kind of thing, because I'm a white middle
Sure.
class.
Has an officer ever asked you to step out of your car? So
Never.
you can search it?
Not once. Never.
What about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No. I think this is not a statistic.
Okay.
But based on my experiences, it does feel like women more easily get out of tickets than men, in my opinion.
Yeah. So that's what you meant, though, right? By systemic.
Systemic, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So do you have anything that comes to mind?
Well, I was thinking of like the workforce.
Okay. Expound.
Well, that it may be easier for others to get positions in jobs than it is for others.
That's a great segue. Did you guys go to college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever heard of legacy admission?
Not a once.
So some colleges have this in place. If your parent or someone you know has gone to the college, you get favor of acceptance.
So if the generations before you were able to be educated, so being educated too is another form of privilege, yeah.
Absolutely.
And if your parents had that right and your grandparents, then you
Right.
get more advantages.
Or favor. I like that word in this situation. It is an advantage for sure. But like favor, something I didn't earn.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just was born to this person and they went to this college. And that will lead us down a whole nother path, right? Like, so you mentioned jobs.
I did.
Okay. We're going to play a game. Okay. I'm going to name a role.
Okay.
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 Just the title of a role. And you're going to give me the top 3 characteristics of this person.
Okay.
When I name this title. Okay?
Okay.
So when I say the role CEO, what physical characteristics does this person embody?
Okay.
And the point of this is to reveal
Unconscious bias.
Okay.
I was going to get to that term. I probably should have started with that.
It's okay.
So unconscious bias is something that we don't realize we're doing. I don't have a technical definition for this. But this exercise will reveal some unconscious biases, right? Would it make you guys feel safe and comfortable if I went first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So my I have to look it up here. Tall, white, male.
Yeah. That's who I saw the entire time.
in my mind.
Those are my 3 things that I think of right away when I think of a CEO.
Okay.
What'd you come up with?
Me? Okay. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
There are options here. Fit or fat,
Okay.
male, and red-faced because of alcohol consumption, which also means they're white because you can see their red face.
Wow.
Or Asian.
Or Asian.
Unconscious bias.
That's a different episode. What were your 2?
I didn't go with like actual, but I said well-groomed, nice clothing.
Those are things. Yeah, those are physical characteristics. I mean, you don't see, if you saw somebody walking down the street that wasn't well-groomed, you wouldn't immediately assume that they're working for a Fortune 500 company as a CEO.
Right.
Okay. Ready for another one now that you've seen the action?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Kindergarten teacher.
Kindergarten teacher.
Top 3 things you think of.
Skinny white blonde.
All right. There you go.
I said white, big brown eyes, and like a fun personality.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
What color's your hair? I'm just kidding.
I have been a kindergarten teacher.
Female, white, 40s and 50s.
Okay.
Older. So I'm thinking like an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does this reveal about like us and society?
Well, are we remembering? I'm trying to remember what my kindergarten teacher. No, we are not remembering. No. Yep.
Yeah.
You did it. Ding, ding, ding.
So what I kind of understand from this, at least just doing some self-reflection, is that we perpetuate what we see in society. But it's also cyclical, right? Why are we why is that the social norm? Because that's all we see.
And what we know.
Are you going to apply for a CEO position if you're qualified? If you don't ever see any female CEOs?
Probably not.
Right? Like, so these are kind of like underbelly, micro, systemic issues that we deal with.
And on that note, I feel like I would change who I am in order to become this thing that I think society says I have to be versus just being myself in the position if I'm qualified.
Sure. And if you probably talk to anybody in the Black community, and I'm not representing their entire community, but I do, I have heard grievances about having to relax their hair in a corporate setting because having natural hair doesn't jive well with people. It changes your look, exactly like you said, to make people more comfortable. So when they do go natural, it's difficult sometimes for people to adjust. Right? That's an unconscious bias.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It sucks. It's terrible.
I think it brings things to the surface that maybe wouldn't have been touched before. So awareness. And I think the goal would be that I would like continually be aware. So kind of like a muscle that we keep talking about. When I recognize, oh, that's unconscious bias, or that unconscious bias is becoming conscious or whatever, that I would recognize it as that and then train myself to think a different way.
Right. What does it stir up, though? I used this example before about being a thermometer versus a thermostat. Like, you don't have to reflect the temperature of society. You can just be the person that kind of changes it a little bit, you know? So in the way that you talk, if you have whatever your privilege is, you want to use it to benefit others.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we've explored this a little bit in like, you know, if there's a Black Lives Matter march or a Juneteenth celebration, showing up as a white person, as a white family, showing up to places and allowing our children to see other things, or the same thing like with homelessness or, you know, whatever area we're learning about or exploring, taking my children, making them listen to the podcast episodes, asking them their thoughts.
So, how do you feel like if you did go to one of those marches or rallies, what kind of reception do you feel like you would receive from the people that you're marching for?
Well, we talked about this yesterday. We recorded for Motherhood Beyond Bars. Yeah. How going to or meeting anyone who is in one of these areas of life or experiences of life that I've not personally dealt with is always like you have these overwhelming like fears about whatever's about to come.
Mm-hmm.
So even we have been to a Black Lives Matter march, and when we went, I was just like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Are we all gonna riot together? you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And then you get there, and every single time the person on the other side is warm and receptive, and I'm not saying that it will always be that way.
Sure.
But they love that you're there.
Mm-hmm. It's a silent way of showing empathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just like a very tangible, minor thing.
Mm.
You don't even have to make like contact or conversation with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these very micro movements that we can do in our lives that will just kind of help a little bit. There's, that is divided, right? You want even in our civil rights history, we had two very prominent Black leaders that had two very different ways of getting to the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those included peace. And I'm minimizing this. There's so much more complication to both of these people that I'm referring to as Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But there's two different approaches, right? And so just being open-minded and listening, even if I think when the whole George Floyd thing happened, there was a lot of tiredness around having to explain once again why this is bad, from at least my Black and brown friends that were living it every day.
Well, and on that note, since we're talking privilege,
sure,
when it happened to George Floyd, it was the first time I knew that anything like that had ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had the privilege of ignoring that portion of American history or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when they're already tired and I'm just hearing about it for the first time, we are on opposite ends of the spectrum here. And so
your range of emotion, which was overwhelmingly positive, kind of like tornado of emotion, right? Like
right.
You were angry and sad and wanted to, like, you're a fighter, right? So you want to get out there, you want to do something about it right now.
Right.
And that's like phase one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there already been
They've been doing it
and decades and decades of that emotion. So it's understandable. Their feelings are valid.
Yeah.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just being open-minded, and not using your privilege, I guess, as a weapon. Like, I don't have to be here. I don't have to be doing this. It's more just like, it's yours to give. And that's it. There's no benefit in keeping it.
Well, and I've thought about that. Like, if, say, I ever show up to anything and I'm not welcome, or anyone questions why I'm there, the safest response, and I think the most genuine response I can have, is, whatever your story is, I believe you, and I want others to know too.
Yeah,
and I would hope that would.
Yeah.
Allow me to be there. And if not, then okay, I have to respect that, because like you said, they're tired.
Sure.
People are tired.
Yeah.
And I get that, because from other areas of life that I've had to experience, I'm exhausted from dealing with it. I'm tired of thinking about it. I want it to go away. I just want to live a happy, healthy whole life. And isn't that what everybody wants? So I can understand that from a different perspective.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just kind of like flipping your mind, like what you said, just flipping your mind a little bit to receiving something that's just out of the norm for you.
Yeah.
You know, I started to talk a little bit about language, and like I work in a corporate setting, so you have the email language. There's a distinct hierarchy in a corporate setting. You have the CEO, and then you have everybody that works your way down. But some examples that I hope is working in my profession is the inclusivity of my language. So anytime I'm writing an email, or we're all sitting down in a meeting, or I'm even responding, I'm a service provider, so we're responding to a client that says, hey, we've done this for you. So even the use of word we and I, just kind of flipping those around, making sure that you're seen as a team and not an individual person, as much as that would be glorifying to myself to be able to take credit for stuff like that. And everybody wants that, right? Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be identified as successful and praised, but it's really important to make sure that everyone feels equal.
Mm.
I hate the word boss. I hate when people use the word boss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lie. I use the word boss in a joking way all the time. I used to use it with my kids, like, all right, boss, but I did realize in my career that can be divisive, even whether you're using it in a sarcastic way or a real way. So I don't like when people call me boss, but I like to call other people boss.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Although if you told me you didn't like it,
I don't like it.
I would make efforts to change it. Not
Incorrect.
You, not you.
I know. You do whatever
if
you want.
told me you didn't like it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but I have a question.
Sure.
Because what about people who are thinking, well, should we be equal in that setting? Like, I've worked really hard to become CEO.
Sure.
And
yeah.
So, like, maybe that doesn't seem fair that everyone is equal at the corporation.
Yeah, that's valid. That's totally valid. I think, especially knowing we've talked about this a little bit too, about progress, right? We have this like natural inclination I'm speaking like I know things about people.
You do.
But I don't. This is my experience only. I speak for no one but Stephanie Gutierrez. That we want to kind of like make people go through the things that we went through because they were so hard for us, and like, why shouldn't all those other people have to?
Right.
But by saying that, inherently, I am implying that I'm against progress, and I'm not saying it overtly, but and I use the example with our kids. I don't want them to live the life that I had. I want them to live a better life than I had. I also feel that way about people that work for me or with me. You want them to leave a better person than when they got there, because if all you've done is like have them spin on a hamster wheel, not learning any new skills, soft skills or hard skills, you haven't done your job as a human to help another human. It doesn't matter if they're going to work for you for 5 months or 5 years. You want them to leave a better person than when they started. And that opens up like the idea of just bringing your best authentic self to work. So even making them feel safe, and I'm only talking about work, but this really applies everywhere. Anytime you enter a social setting, giving space for someone to feel safe is like, it does, I can't even say it. It's just, it does so much for the situation, for the conversation, for the person's perception of you, for your perception of the person. If the number one goal is safety and authenticity, you're never going to walk away from a bad situation. I feel.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
So good.
Well, what you were saying with some people saying, I've worked really hard to get here, so why don't I
get all the credit?
Deserve what I've worked for? Just because someone else has had a tough go of it or whatever, that doesn't minimize. I've heard that a lot, those sentiments a lot. And also, again,
like if I could do it, you could do it too. Like kind of like I did it.
Yeah. But I mean, we know that everybody's story is so radically different, especially based off of the privilege that they were born into. And so I know that has to be part of it. But also the other side of it too is with just the main sentiment that I hear is that expression of it's not fair that I have to accommodate for them, or that I don't get things or that they get more or pushed. I don't remember what's it called, where like the fire department hires off of the local demographic instead of who's most qualified.
Yeah. So that's not, you're saying that they're saying it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Right.
I've heard it a lot.
I mean, I can see both sides of that coin. It makes sense. I feel like if my local police, hospital, fire department doesn't look like me, they don't have my best interest at heart. I don't want a bunch of small Asian firemen running around, but I mean, it's just, or do I? I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, if somebody's going to kind of like help me in a state where I'm like desperate.
Yeah, if I have a paramedic, I want the best paramedic. I don't care what color they are, where they come from, whatever. I want the best. And that's the question is, a lot of counties are hiring based off of demographics in order to give mostly minorities a shot at these positions.
But how do you get the best? Like, how does that person become the best?
Right. Based off of.
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer. I'm asking you. Like, is it based off of privilege, or is it? I mean, there's something to be said about the tech industry, at least, being a mostly male-dominated industry. There could be some science behind that. There could be just opportunity behind that. There could be, I mean, I don't know. Unconscious biases come from privilege, and then it perpetuates more privilege. It's like a cyclical thing. So trying to avoid unconscious bias, or even identifying when you're having unconscious bias and then actively make it conscious and reverse it.
Right.
Hey, this is Linds popping in real quick. We had to cut a chunk of the conversation here because real names and real stories aren't for the internet. But in this missing section, we walk through some frustrating, very human moments with people that we actually know in real life. We pulled those moments apart, what we did, what we wish we'd done, and how we might think differently next time, trying to move from knee-jerk reactions to more intentional choices. And due to the nature of this conversation, there was a common thread in all of these examples we were using. They were about folks who were different from us, culturally, ethnically, financially, regionally, which set us up perfectly for the next part of the conversation, which is who's actually nearest to us and what those circles of proximity look like. Let's jump back in.
Well, so I would I have a follow-up or a question. Like, let's even back that up a little bit further. Like, what does the demographic of the people we know look like?
Right.
It looks like us. So that's another, and I'm not, I mean, a lot of people are like, they come out and they're like, I have a black friend. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, are you open to being around people that, for the quality of their character instead of the way they look?
Which goes into, like, if you're being intentional about physical community, like who your neighbors are, actually, like, what neighborhood are you choosing to live in, or like who you're including in your inner circle of community. Because if they don't look like you, then obviously that's going to be, or whoever surrounds you are going to be your touch points.
Sure.
And I think that's within every culture. So it's
Absolutely.
not just like, native to, that's a funny word to use, but like, what's the word? Like, it's not just the white culture. It's in every culture. You're going to have this community helping each other. But when you intentionally
and there's
mix,
nothing, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. That's how, like, it's been, I hate saying that. It's how it's always been. It's just, it's natural when you have community like that. Like, it's very overt to try and go and find, like, people to join your community that don't look, think, and act like you. Like, it's just, and it's not desirable. So you're going to move into a neighborhood who has the same socioeconomic status as you. Not many people go into a neighborhood they can't afford, or that they are over affordable.
Yeah.
Unless it's intentional. I mean, I have a couple of pastor friends back in Chicago that intentionally move into low income neighborhoods so that they can, like, be among the people. That's not a common characteristic of the average human being. Right. So you want to be somewhere where, I mean, especially capitalism too. You want to be somewhere where, like, your possessions are a status symbol. I think you get unique scenarios where you have mixed ethnic groups in your neighborhood. I guess the lower income you go, the more mixed it is, and then the higher you go, the less mixed it is.
That's interesting.
But you get, like, it is kind of rare that you get, like, you all still share the same socioeconomic status.
Right.
So you are different. Like, you are in itself a group that, whatever you look like, is, that's where you're, it doesn't matter because you all have the same associated. I mean, there is the whole concept of white flight back in, I don't even know. It was really recent. I should, like, the 60s or 70s, where, like, anytime, a black family would move into a neighborhood, like, white people would move out because they just, well, there goes the neighborhood. That's the kind of common phrase that was used often. Or even a single mom, or a blended family would move into, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's just kind of like, there's so much intersectionality that happens in our lives. We all have our own street corner, and I'm not, like, saying this in, like, a prostitute kind of way, but we have our own street corner, and, like, it's not our job to go to somebody else's street corner. It's just kind of like to meet in the middle of the street and just understand, and it's okay to go back to your street corner, right? Like, because that's your story. That's where you came from, Yeah, I don't know.
I think we talk about that in the first episode.
Yeah.
Who lives on the other side of the street?
And that's another thing that I was thinking about with language is it's okay to like ask for clarity. What did you mean by that? Can you explain that to me further?
Yeah.
Can you educate me on that?
Right.
What you meant by that?
And had you had some beef with something that I said, and I know that beef is even a strong phrasing there, but had you like kind of bucked a little bit even inside at something that I said, how would you approach it in our conversation? So it's okay to ask for clarification, and it's also okay to confront something that you see that might be a problem. How would you do that?
Sure. Yeah. So
Safety 6.
There's been a bunch of situations where, I mean, you have to understand you have to have social awareness, right? Maybe if somebody's saying something in a meeting full of a bunch of people that you personally take the wrong way, and then they keep expounding and going, and they don't make any clarity in the rest of their words. Depending on your relationship with that person, I would, privately ask them, hey, can you explain what you meant by these words or like that phrase, or can you expound on that a little bit? And it's very non-confrontational to do that. As someone who's an expert in anti-conflict, who's conflict averse, you always want to use disarming language to just get clarity, because clarity is kindness, right? Anything that's left in the ambiguity and the space of what did they mean by that, it's just toxic, and it ruminates. I said it again.
It ruminates is a word.
Oh, okay.
So what was it that you said earlier?
I
It
have
wasn't
no idea.
ruminate.
Rumination.
Ruminately.
Ruminately.
Ruminate?
Rumalad.
Oh, man, what's that TikTok where it's like, you mean, they say the word, and you're like, no, that's not what it is. No.
It keeps going.
Yes.
Oh,
Not Remoulade.
those get dirty real fast. I love it. Yeah, so obviously asking for clarity. And then, depending on the person's self-awareness, taking a humble stance versus a defensive stance. It's understandable. Everybody has different personalities. So if they have if you have a defensive personality, like where your first reaction is to be like kind of close up and be like, oh, like, why are you so sensitive? That kind of thing. Not necessarily those words, but just like you want to get defensive and be like, no, you don't understand me, my intent, like all this stuff, me, I. It's more just like, check that. We talk about this all the time in our community. Just check where those feelings are coming from. Why? It's okay to take a pause and be like, let me get back to you on that. I feel like this is really important, and it's important to you and for me to have this conversation. I just need a minute to regroup and kind of understand, or like kind of check myself.
I mean, I feel like this is basic. I say basic, like everybody needs to work on it, but it can happen in every relationship. It happens in our marriage all the time, where I'm like, I finally get to the point where I'm ready to tell you about something that really hurt me, or a way that I'm really feeling, and I'm really in my feelings. And the response is me, I, you, I, me. And I'm like, you are making excuses and justifications, and I'm telling you I'm heartbroken. Like, we are on 2 different pages right now.
Yeah. I think too, like, and I think people say things over and over again. It becomes part of their language, and you don't realize that maybe it could hurt some random person that you maybe, or someone that you know really, really well, who's maybe having a bad day. And like, again, I always I say this in my head, like, I always revert to just getting clarity, but like in reality, I kind of just like shrivel up and be like, they probably didn't mean that, what I think they meant, so I'm not trying to be a hypocrite or anything. I like, these are things that I know work, at least at the corporate level, but they're definitely applicable everywhere, even with your kids. The other thing that I was going to mention, go ahead.
No.
You were taking a breath in like you were going to speak.
Well, I just have a question.
Sure.
Well, this has come up recently with someone who is saying, like, they feel like they have to walk on eggshells in this day and age because everything they say could be hurtful or wrong politically, or
misconstrued or taken the wrong way, or
is it the terminology cancel culture?
Yeah.
I have a great 3-part series podcast recommendation on that. People you know and love, you're wrong about. They actually do. Michael Hobbs does a 3-part series on that. It's not called cancel culture. It starts off with, what was the first one? I think political correctness, and the next one is the chicks versus the Iraq War, and then the next title is cancel culture. But they're all 3 related. Highly recommend. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I think that's also a defensive stance, even though it feels humble.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the phrase over and over again, you can't even be a white male anymore. Like, I can't have an opinion because I'm white and I'm male. And that's just, I feel like it diminishes the point.
To say that, or
To feel that way.
I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a two-way street, right? The person is stuck on their corner. Well, I can't have an opinion because I'm a white male. But the person, whoever's making them feel that way, also needs to disarm that.
Well, and then
say,
you have
like,
people on
yes,
the other corner who are saying, "Oh, I've never been able to be a black male, so what do you want from me now?" Like,
right. Exactly.
and or I'm a Latino male and no one's listening to me. Like, everybody's on their own corner.
Yeah.
Which my response to when we were having that discussion, I said, I think the best thing is in the people in your area, like, you become curious and you start to get to know them. And when you get to know people, then you see them differently and you care about the things they care about. And so it's like, instead of like, this is me on my street corner and you over there and I have my opinion, it's like, come over for dinner and let's become friends or get to know each other.
Yeah.
And then automatically that just, then I'm not walking on eggshells. I'm like, I understand more about you, so I'm going to behave differently.
Yeah.
And the more I know about you, the more I love you. And the more I love you, the more I want the best for you. And I mean, it's a natural progression to start to be more empathetic and to recognize your privilege, expose yourself to other people's stories.
You know, you hide names in schools on a resume. Before you even approach that person from your street corner, maybe just don't look at their face and just see who they are for a person based on like what they're, you know, I'm not saying like blind your face, just walk around
Look at their eyes.
Yeah, I'm just saying like,
them.
don't make, it's really hard to do this, but don't make any judgments about them based on the way they look, what car they drive, what
clothes
how
they're
they're
wearing.
dressed, you know, how their hair is, you know, anything. Just go in with a clean slate.
Yeah.
See? Problem solved. World problem solved. Don't judge anyone. I did want to like, I agree with your progression of like naturally loving your neighbor, like where if you just take the time to get to know them, I think there also needs to be permission granted to like, if somebody is an asshole, like just, it's okay. You know, you don't have to be all things to all people.
Right.
You know, and that's something that kind of like blew my mind the first time I was on a DE Now council when we were like trying to understand what is our goal, what's our mission, and it's like, oh well, we need to fix this and we need to fix this and we need to fix it. It's just like, take a step back, one baby micro step at a time. You know, just don't have to be all things to all people.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I was in a book club that was reading 1619 Project, and the first conversation was this amazing woman, and she said, you know, talking about race all the time, you start to see things and question all the time, like, is that a racist remark or was that a racist move or is it because I'm black or whatever? And she was like, I have to stop myself and clarify, are they a racist or an asshole? Because it's one or the other. And I feel like that can apply to everything. Are they uneducated or an asshole?
Yeah.
Like, and there are a lot of assholes, and you can say boundaries, and I'm going to walk around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good, valid point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I was going to kind of wrap up the language part. Like, does your language project hierarchy when you speak? So like I'm trying to think of something very innocent, like I'm a software engineer, right? And that's not your profession. So if I say something that's very specific to software engineering and I say, well, you might not understand this, but, and then
which is true,
and then go on to my statement.
Yeah.
There's ways to say that or not say it.
Yeah.
Like what you don't say actually helps a lot. Like that is less divisive or kind of hierarchical.
Yeah.
It's not I feel like if you just take the stance, what we're talking about, that everybody's on the same playing field. And this comes into the corporate world too. Yeah, maybe I'm the leader of the department, but I'm never going to discount your opinions because you've been working here for 5 months and then elevate somebody else's opinions because they've been working here for 10 years. You know, it's really just about not being divisive in your language and setting the point, like choosing your words wisely, to make people feel inclusive, which makes people feel safe, which makes people bring their authentic self and disarm.
Yeah. And when you said safe earlier, I thought that immediately is an equal playing field. Because if we're all safe, it feels like someone else is not like trying to analyze the power and like control the room or whatever. Like it's just, it's an even playing field. I have this thought about this Donald Miller book I read years ago, and he gave this visual about people being in a boat, and we're just like all in a boat and we're trying to survive. And there are people who are like, you're stepping on, you have to get to the top, like what's the top of the boat, like the bow or whatever. And they're just like stepping and pushing down people because they got to get to the top. And that's basically society, just like pushing each other down and stepping on each other. But like, if you stop doing that, if you're just in the boat, then everyone's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that just made me think about that.
Okay. So I need to zoom on out. Big picture here. We have been talking about privilege. We have defined what privilege is. We've given examples of privilege. What's the ultimate goal with our privilege? To use it for good?
Yes.
And what is good?
What?
What is good?
That is so deep. We don't have enough time or battery power to talk about what is good.
Well, in terms of what Wayfind is and what we're doing with this podcast, what is good?
Sharing the stories to bridge the gaps.
Bridging gaps in
Bridging
our neighborhoods.
gaps.
Yeah. And so that the good is anything that you can do using the power that you have that you didn't ask for, that you were born with, using the, I don't know if power is the right word, but it feels like a good word. Like you got a little bit of extra electricity for these certain realms, using that power on behalf of someone else who may not have that same power.
Yeah. I completely agree with that statement.
Okay.
Yeah. Today.
I did it right. Yes.
Today I agree with that statement. I have the right to change my mind.
Ask me again tomorrow.
Genuinely,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
I
This
sat
was
here
good.
the whole time and just like am in awe of the way you articulate things and teach. And I think that you're just being you. And it just makes me want to like fit in your pocket and go everywhere so I can learn.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor to even be on this. I love working behind the scenes with you guys and watching your visions come to life. I think it's pretty spectacular.
We're so glad you listened in on this conversation with us here at You Don't Know, a Wayfind Collective podcast. We don't have all the answers, shocker, but we do know that silence doesn't cut it. Got hot takes, questions, or critiques about our privilege discussion? Slide them our way. Any links from today's episode are in the show notes. Make sure you check out Stats with Steph over on our Insta account at Wayfind Co. She did a special one just for this episode. Love stirring the pot with conversations like this? Share with your besties and help fund the chaos at wayfindco.com. It's tax deductible and way more satisfying than giving to the IRS. Am I right? Produced and edited by Lindsay Migliori and Deanna West. Graphics by Rebecca Williamson. Website designed by Bliss and Tell Creative. Wayfind Collective. Becoming better humans, one curiosity-filled conversation at a time.